The National High School Finals Rodeo is the largest rodeo in the world. Over 1,400 young men and women from 4 different countries gathering for the 7-day event that ended on Thursday. This year, the city of Guthrie stepped forward at the 11th hour to host the rodeo. ONR's Rory Taylor reports on how the COVID pandemic impacted the competition and the community.
Well, the host state, the Sooner State of Oklahoma.
This week, the National High School Finals Rodeo returned to Oklahoma for the first time since 1992.
I mean, it's a good thing to come here. I mean, it's centrally located for everybody across the country here. I mean, we're right in the heart of the state. We're a rodeo state.
Rodney Glenn is the national director from Oklahoma for the National High School Rodeo Association. He's on the executive board that had to react when the Nebraska government said they couldn't host the rodeo this year due to COVID-19 related shutdowns.
Once Nebraska, the government said they couldn't let us come, I got on the phone with the Lazy E people, see if they was interested in doing it, and they said yes. Immediately got with James, and then the process just started from there.
James Higginbotham is the executive director of the NHSRA.
Normally it takes about 2 years worth of planning. Do everything from stalling, camping, stock contractors, vendors, sponsors. But this year we only had about 6 weeks, so we kind of got behind and a lot of work went into it from our staff and from the staff here to Lazy E.
The Lazy E was selected from a handful of other locations because of its central location in the country, its large capacity for seating, the indoor arenas that keep the ground dry from rainy days, as well as its much-needed camping space for the 1,404 contestants who traveled from across the country, Canada, and Mexico.
National High School Rodeo Association is an international association. We have 43 states. We have 5 provinces of Canada. We have Mexico. We have Australia. And we're going to add New Zealand next year. So we are truly an international organization.
With so many people coming together, a few new precautions are being taken.
When we had our mandatory meeting, mask was required because there's so many people in there. We've cut our attendance down to half. This facility holds a little over 7,000 people. We've only let 3,600 in, so there's plenty of room for social distancing. There's hand washing stations all over the facility.
Honestly, it felt pretty normal. It felt like just another nationals. You know, some of our provinces from Canada and Australia, they're not here because of COVID and the border shutting down. But for the most part, it's been a normal nationals, which has been awesome.
The logistics of the late change in venue were daunting and changed plans for many contestants.
We were definitely ready for Nebraska, and I was planning on bringing all my horses to Nebraska. We moved to Oklahoma, and we were able to rent horses here, and so I rode friends' horses here, and we are really just a close-knit community, so they all helped me.
Clayton Sharp and Lane Touchette are representing Louisiana in cutting. Lane won his performance in the first go-round. The two of them were glad for the change in venue.
At first it was going to be one heck of a road trip for us all the way up to, where was it going to be, Nebraska? And so it actually kind of worked out better for us that it came here to the Lazy E in Oklahoma.
And I like the Lazy E. It was a lot closer, so we didn't have to sit in the car and bicker back and forth.
Rodney Glenn says canceling the rodeo was never a consideration, for a number of reasons, one being the scholarship programs in place for the contestants. Stephanie Rodrigue is the president of the National High School Rodeo Foundation.
When the foundation was first established, it was established for the purpose of making loans to college students to pay for tuition. In 1972, the very first loan was forgiven, and therefore it became a scholarship program as we know scholarship programs today. In 2019, we awarded approximately $175,000 in just foundation scholarships.
If you ask all these young people here, every one of them on a rodeo for a living, the fact of the matter is that most of them will need an education. So we have a lot of scholarship applications on the state level and also on the national level.
Even in spite of the pandemic, our applications are at about the same number. We have a little over 200, I think about 233 applicants this year, and that's a very average number every year. So each one of those applicants will leave with a minimum of a $500 scholarship, but we have a committee that's still making special selections as we speak, and they will be selecting the top applicants for scholarships that will range from $1,000 to $5,000.
The top 10 contestants in any of the rodeo's 16 events are also awarded scholarships. But scholarship money isn't the only cash flow around this rodeo.
It's a large economic impact for what we bring to these towns. It's several $1 million of what we bring in to impact these towns. So it's good for everybody.
Rory Taylor, The Oklahoma News Report.
And I'm sure you're wondering, how did our Oklahoma Cowboys and girls do this year? Well, very well, thank you. An Oklahoman finishing in the top 10 in 8 different events. The Oklahoma State team came in 4th in the girls' team standings, 3rd in boys, and 3rd all around behind only Texas and Utah.